This NASCAR In-Season Challenge Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and I know you were expecting a Cup episode to happen this early in the day. However, due to weather, due to odds, due to all kinds of crazy stuff, we bring you the what was supposed to be scheduled for this evening. The in-season challenge bracket is happening officially, Cody, as last year was sort of an unofficial start to it. But this year, there really is an in-season challenge bracket, and we are going to give you our favorite picks. We're going to break down the bracket and all that other good stuff. So, Cody, a fun episode to begin the week.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It's, the reason that they put it in here, obviously, Denny Hamlin kind of came up with the idea, right? Our buddy Phil over at the Full Tank with Phil had Karch Madness back in the day, kind of his own version. But Denny kind of introduced it into the mainstream. Now NASCAR took up on it. They're like, okay, great. Hey, this is a great opportunity to work in new TV partners, right? Coverage switches to TNT. So all you Prime haters, it's back on cable, which you also have to pay for. So we're still paying. Okay. Anyways. But yes, it's on TNT now for the next 5 races. And these are going to be the 5 races for this in-season tournament, but it just adds an extra element, right? We're in the summer stretch of races right now. And we've got the normal storylines. There's a lot of winners, right? We keep getting new winners. Chase Briscoe wins last week, adds another one to the name. So playoff spots are getting more limited. SVG, of course, went in a couple of weeks ago. A couple of wild card tracks coming up, which actually make this tournament even more fun because it kicks off at Atlanta where anybody can beat anybody. Then it goes to Chicago. You got another road course in Sonoma in there. So it is a bit of a wild ride coming up throughout this tournament, which is going to make it fun, going to make it exciting. And you might look at the 132 matchup and go, well, Denny Hamlin beats Ty Dillon just about every week. But, super speedway, right? And a couple of road courses, that's not as sure of a thing as it always is. On top of anybody can have problems on any given week, as we've seen and is well documented. And it's, single elimination. So once you're out, you're out. But, this is going to be pretty fun. And not only that, Rod, NASCAR did it the right way. They got a partner involved, presented by DraftKings. Them and MGM, I've noticed, have all 16 matchups available to bet. So we're going to be talking about that today. Multiple books have outrights winners as well for the entire tournament. So we get to do the tournament. We have a contest, by the way, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we get a bet on it. Win, win, win. Let's fucking go.
I like the introduction of this because for those of everybody that was saying that last week's race was an absolute bore, this adds another layer of you having some skin in the game, because I know that everybody gambles on NASCAR. And so when you look at Pocono and you're like, oh, there were no green flag passes, this is a horrible race. I wonder, Cody, and this leads obviously to a whole different discussion, one that we may have in the off season, but just to put it in you guys' heads, right? I mean, I'm in a CFL group, Canadian football group, and somebody said, well, CFL games are awful, right? And I was like, well, and somebody brought up a point. CFL games, they only happen once. So like the only game that you're watching is the only game that's available. So if the NFL did that, you would have to suffer through a bunch of games that you didn't want, and were horrible games, right? But because they're because now
about Thursday night, it's the Jets and Jags, like
right. I mean, it's televised, and that's the only one that's televised at the time, and so that's kind of the way with the race, right? I mean, there's gonna be some not good races because it's the only show in town, it's the only one showing, so you're gonna have to suffer through some of those. You can't make every single race a buzzer beater. You can't make every single race a walk-off home run. There's going to be 13-0 shellackings. There's gonna be some 1-0 defensive battles. Like, that's how it's going to happen. And so unless you can make every single race an overtime finish with a 0.00 second win, then there's just no way you're ever going to do that. But again, we'll have that philosophical debate later. Right now, obviously, yes, breaking down the bracket is going to be what we do. A lot of fun, Cody, because in these matchups, right, these are all, and we'll break down how it is, but there's a lot of wide swings in this. And if you're talking with Atlanta, like, I don't know why we started with Atlanta, because you couldn't start with a more wild card. I want to know how many perfect brackets after Atlanta. I know, but still, it's crazy.
There's not going to be any left, Rod, because any of these matches can go any way, any given week, right? Even at a place like a Pocono, Hamlin wrecks or his brakes fail like all three of his cars did, and suddenly Ty Dillon beats him, right? But, you got 16 matchups here. And while NASCAR seeding process was fucking stupid, really, if we're going to be honest, it sort of has worked out to create some interesting matchups. So it sort of worked out anyways in the long run. But I'm pretty excited. This adds an extra element, right? There's $1 million on the line for the driver who wins this at the end of the day in Indianapolis. And it just gives that extra storyline. They're going to be talking about it on the broadcast. There is an alternate broadcast, so the races are going to be on TNT, but on True TV, Jeff Burton and Larry Mack are going to be doing the alternate broadcast that's focused in on the matchups, which is kind of exciting, right? If the race is getting boring, flip over to TNT or to True TV and check out the alternate broadcast and where they're focused in on how this is doing.
I'm going to be watching that one from the start. So also what I'll be watching is our college football team previews. They are back on the college experience. Colby Dant, Moneyline Mac preview every FBS college. And there are a ton of them. Every FBS college football team. And you obviously do not want to miss it. Chat is blowing up all over the place. I know Marcus already had checked in earlier saying that Christopher Bell is going to win everything. And so we love that. Joe's Flacco's cheers, boys. Sorry, I hit the button.
Jess saying good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Samuel checking in says cheers. That Dick and Briscoe gave my bankroll on Sunday. I may never recover. That was a bit unfortunate from that aspect. Joe Flacco saying he's taking Chase Elliott to win the in-season tourney. King is checking in. Good evening. He's watching as he drinks a nice cold pickle slushy. I don't know if you saw Rod Sonic going to be on the number 54 car this weekend.
Hold on, King.
Oh, okay.
You're drinking the pickle slushy. That's exactly what the rest of that season is going to be like for the guy driving that monster car. So I'm glad I didn't have to drink a monster today.
Oh, jeez. Boji Joe checking in says, Rod and Cody, Jess, why did you bet on N-Figure to win? Let me guess. Rod and Cody said so. Warned you not to. Hey, long shot for a reason. We have to learn the difference in what a long shot is and what it's not. Rye says, what's good? I keep forgetting about the bracket. Don't forget now. It's time to get it started. Here we go. Justin checking in. Let's go, boys. John Hunter over Barry is his best bet. And then, Boji Joe going off, but says, by the way more athletic than the camera makes me out to be. Nice kick. I did the AF1 kick challenge over there, the Manny Higuera challenge. We have to do a drop kick 30-yard field goal. I've punted the ball a bunch. I've kicked the ball before. I've never drop kicked the ball, Rod. So that was interesting. But if you want to watch me fail at that a couple times, my daughter laughs at me. But in the end, I do hit it. So there's that. I left in some of the bloopers, not all of them, some of them. So go check that out over on the X, or I did post it on our YouTube as well, just to get it out there. But yeah, the chat's going crazy, right? Ash checking in as well. Says couldn't find the matchups on DK and BetMGM. So we'll kind of break this down a little bit more in a bit, but the matchups are actually just for Atlanta for this week because that's this round. So they are just in the regular race section for the driver matchups. And then the odds to win the tournament are different. So yeah, that's it.
Indeed. All right. Well, again, this episode is all about the NASCAR in-season challenge, which again, everybody seems to have forgotten about, and yet it's happening, and yet we're going to have some fun. Like Cody said, we do have a contest rolling at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NASCAR, and there's going to be quite a few fun things going on for the winners. Cody, I know you made a graphic about it, and I think we'll have it on the Twitter, right? We'll have it on the Twitter.
Yeah, we'll have it on the Twitter, but at the end of the show, I'll tweet it out here. But yeah, you just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NASCAR, and you get entered over there. All you have to do is submit that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, which should be already anyways, so check that box. Then you just go to NASCAR and fill out their bracket, screenshot. For whatever reason, NASCAR didn't make groups. I was hoping to just have this in a group, make it a lot easier, but that's okay. Screenshot your bracket. You submit it with your, that screenshot with your entry. And that's it. That's all you have to do. No, we're not charging you for it. It's completely free. Everything else, right? Just subscribe to the YouTube, submit your bracket. First place, Rod, going to get a $200 SGPN gift card. It's a lot of race officials or terrorist shirts. Second place gets a $100 gift card, and third place gets a $50 gift card. Might toss in a couple t-shirts in there as well. So, yeah, that's awesome.
It is going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see who actually wins the whole thing because I want to see you guys sporting your Refs or Terrorist t-shirts, as well as some NASCAR gambling.
You can get both. You can get race officials are terrorists, refs are terrorists, and there's, our store over there. You want to win the $200 gift card because you could easily spend a lot more than $200. There's a lot of cool gear over there, and like team specific. We've got like college colors and pro colors and like I've got an SGPN shirt that says New England forever or whatever for the Patriots, all that kind of fun stuff. So a lot of good stuff over there.
Well, and it's funny because I got my daughter a Racing Gambling Podcast hoodie, all right, that she wears to school. And, it just says the Helmet and Gambling Podcast. And I'm sending my kid to school, high school, with a gambling podcast shirt on. And there's a lot of folks out there that are like, and what is that exactly? And then she gets to say, that's my dad's show.
That's right.
And they're like, oh,
paying the bills. Leave me alone.
Pay the bills. King says, I am pulling for Hocevar. I am pulling Hocevar over at this point. But, all right. There is plenty to go over as we start to break down these brackets for you. But I would like to step away real quick so that way we can kind of talk about it for a good long time and tell you in the meantime about our friends over at mybookie.ag. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. I love me my CFL, Canadian Football League. Totally down for the Ottawa Redblacks, who just beat the hated Stamps again to win this week against Toronto. They're 2.5-point favorites at -110 over there on MyBookie. Give me Ottawa -2.5. They're going to beat the hated Toronto Argonauts. I know they're the reigning Grey Cup champs. I don't care. I'm not scared. You can bet that too. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Fantasy football season is already underway. Drafts are taking place, but yours, my friend, can take place in a much better place than all of the other folks out there. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for the entire stay. What you're going to get? You're going to get a limo ride from the airport. You get a $5,000 tab for stadium swim and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. 10, because I'm going with you. You can always get 15% off of all the Circa properties with promo code SGP15. So head down there. The last chance to enter the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway is coming up soon. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Like I said, I don't care whose league wins. I'm going to be that 12th person, and I'm going to crash your party. So get ready for that.
There you go. I love it.
All right. In-season bracket, Cody. This is, again, all the drivers, and they are all seeded according to points right now.
Not according to points.
Well, okay, fine. Go ahead and break it down, Cody.
Nice try, Rod. That would have been the appropriate way to do this. But we know NASCAR doesn't like to do things the fun and easy way usually, so they didn't. They took the top 32 drivers after, I don't know, after Nashville a couple of weeks ago. So if you were top 32 in points after Nashville, you made the tournament. You locked yourself in. Then over the last 3 weeks, it was your best finish throughout Michigan, Mexico, and Pocono. That was what determined where you were at for seeding. So Denny Hamlin wins at Michigan. He automatically is the number 1 seed. SVG wins at Mexico City, but he was not in the top 32. So he is not in this, which with Chicago coming up, with even Atlanta could be helpful to him, right? And Sonoma, unfortunate for him, but the rules are the rules. So he's not in, but Chase Briscoe wins at Pocono, which gives him the number 2 seed because he was the next best finisher, right? So then whoever finished second at Michigan likely got the 3 seed, which was Chris Buescher, of course. Second at so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. Anyways, they're seeded. We've got 32. So this looks just like if March Madness, right? We start with 64 teams. After the first round, it's down to 32. That's what we have here. So we've got our bracket with 16 drivers on one side, 16 drivers on the other side, which gives us 16 matchups for this week. So Denny Hamlin and Ty Dillon are the 132 matchup. Kyle Busch is the 16. Keselowski is the 17. Those two guys are matched up against each other. So we'll go through each one of these matchups. These matchups that we're going to talk about are for this week at Atlanta. So as Ash discovered there, like over on DraftKings, the matchups are listed under the Quaker State 400 because the matchups only count for this week. Because next week we're going to have new matchups, ideally. And since DraftKings is the presenting sponsor of this tournament from NASCAR, I would imagine we'll continue to get odds each week, which is great. And we'll definitely find a way to cover those each week for sure, whether we work it into the show, whether we do separate stuff or however that works. But so all you have to do is beat the guy you're matched up with in Atlanta, and you move on to round 2. So if Ty Dillon beats Denny Hamlin, he's on to round 2. If Kyle Busch beats Brad Keselowski, on to round 2, then those guys would face off, right? Like a traditional. Wow, I malfunctioned there, Rod. Geez.
There was a glitch in the Matrix.
Okay, yeah, I forgot where I was going. Anyways, like a traditional bracket. So then next week at Chicago, we'll start over with 16, right? So whoever advances in their respective things will now match up against each other. So let's say it's Ty Dillon and Kyle Busch, right? So the next week at Chicago, the better finisher moves on. That could mean one of them wins, one of them finishes last. That could mean one finishes 36th, one finishes 37th. Doesn't matter. All you have to do is beat the guy you're matched up with in that particular week, and you move on to the next round. So that creates opportunities for some crazy long shots to find their way up, right? Because if if Denny Hamlin gets caught up in a wreck at Atlanta, suddenly he's moved on. Then he's facing Kyle Busch in the next round. What if he wrecks at Chicago, right? Now all of a sudden he's into the Elite 8 and $1 million. He's not that far away from it. So then the following round will be Sonoma. Then we'll have the final 4. So just 2 matchups left at Dover. And then for the Brickyard 400, all eyes will be on 2 drivers. They'll be matched up mano a mano. The better finisher will be the champion. And they win $1 million. There's no extra points or anything like that. But hey, $1 million is $1 million, right? And even to those guys who make a lot of money, $1 million makes a difference.
Yeah, $1 million means that they can actually add something to their house or, have another kid or whatever. But my brother checking in saying Rod secretly loves Hocevar. He's told me plenty of times how his dislike is just shtick for the show. In real life, he's a big Carson.
He's actually said the same thing to me. So we've talked extensively off the air about it. And I think he actually has started an addition to his house. It's the Carson Hocevar wing. Whether we'll ever get to see it, who knows? But I know it's there.
It's the name of the studio, the Carson Hocevar studio. All right. Well, then, Cody, let's say we start digging in to this bracket as we let's start right at the top, shall we? Let's kind of dig into what we got. The matchup here, obviously, as Cody alluded to, it is Denny Hamlin as the first seed, Ty Dillon as the 32nd seed. What I love about this is that as you're looking at the NASCAR website, it actually gives you some stats to go by. So here's what the NASCAR site says in head-to-head matchups. Denny Hamlin leads the overall head-to-head matchup 71-24.
So just to clarify too, so they've got, it says career. Denny Hamlin and Ty Dillon have matched up more than 95 times in their career, but in the next gen era, they've matched up 95 times. So the career stat is just the next gen era, just to clear that up.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah. So that's it. For next gen era, Denny Hamlin has a 71-24 edge this season, a 12-4 edge. And on this track in particular, Denny Hamlin 5-0. Similar tracks 10-5. So here's Justin saying sneaky upset. I get that, but here's the thing about Denny Hamlin, and we've talked about this time and time again, especially on super speedways. He's a guy that feels, right? He's a guy that will pull himself out of the fracas if he needs to, because he feels like things are getting too hectic. And he'll come back and he'll, charge, and he'll come back forward. He's only got 4 DNFs on Atlanta at all, and one in the next gen era, 1 DNF in the next gen era out of the times he's been on this track. So I don't know if it's a slam dunk. Denny Hamlin's average finish here 16.9. Ty Dillon, on the other hand, 24.7. So, I mean, it's not a slam dunk for Ty Dillon. This is one where I almost feel like you have to take Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, there's no slam dunks anywhere. I'm trying to decide here, because Ty Dillon's a guy we often touch about, and once the reason we're not giving out bets right now for Atlanta is because we don't have a full set of odds yet. Hopefully those will be out this evening. By the way, we'll be back this evening to, assuming we get the odds, to give you a full show with the picks for that. But Dillon's a guy we often highlight for, hey, do we, bet on him a lot on super speedways because he is good to get into the end. But Denny, of course, we know is on Mount Rushmore. So that what I'm trying to decide here is this everybody's big upset, right? Is this like the popular 16 or the 15 that's going to take down the 2 or whatever that you always get in March Madness that never happens? Or is everybody going to take Hamlin because it's the obvious pick and you get sneaky with Ty Dillon? Now, the thing that's notable, right, is the 0-5 in Atlanta where that Ty Dillon is against him. 5 next-gen races and Hamlin's beat him every single time. I think it is hard to look past that too much.
Yeah, and even still, the books have him, Denny Hamlin, at -250. Obviously, you can't bet it. Okay, fine. Hold on. I'm sorry. I have to you may bet this at -250. I will not tell you not to bet something at -250. If that is something you feel comfortable doing, by all means, bet -250. I'm not here to tell you not to. I will say that it takes an insane amount of math to be profitable at -250. And if that's what you want to do it. However, I'm just going to give you the Denny Hamlin's -250. Do with it as you will. Ty Dillon, on the other hand, +180.
That's the other thing is +180. +180 in any head-to-head on a super speedway is always worth another look, because it can be, yes, it's 5-0. I get it, but one wreck is all it takes. One thing to go wrong, and sure, one thing can go wrong anywhere, but at a super speedway, it's a lot more apt to happen. And a guy like Ty Dillon's a lot more apt to finish in 5th place at the end of the day. +180, I think, is a bet worth placing. There's not a ton. This actually might be. This morning there were some 3-1s. I don't think those exist anymore. They got hammered pretty good. I think Austin Dillon's the only one that's bigger than this. His brother actually, at +190 against Chase Elliott. But yeah, I think this is a bet worth taking when it comes to the Ty Dillon side of things. And I am going to take Ty Dillon officially in my bracket, Rod. We're going to start the chaos with a 32 seed upsetting a number 1 right off the bat.
I am not going to do that. That is you, and good for you, because I can't do it. All right, let's go to the other side of the bracket. Obviously, we can't spend a whole lot of time on each one. There's a lot of different matchups, and so we're just going to kind of give you the oversight and our pick. Like I said, mine's the 11. By the way, I've got the nice little whiteboard here to keep my picks sane. So, all right,
I printed out a bracket, but yeah, I'll be writing them down and following along.
I had 0 time, so I'm sorry. All right, Briscoe, Gragson. It is the 2 and the 31 seed. Briscoe, obviously the winner of last week's race. Gragson, not really the winner of any of these races, but if we're looking at the quick stats, the quick down and dirty in the next gen era, head-to-head, Briscoe's got a 58-34 lead overall, 13-4 this season for the 19. And then on this track, Briscoe's got a 5-2 advantage. and a 10-9 on similar tracks for Briscoe. So all signs point to Briscoe. I don't know, though, because, I mean, I get it, but he's got no top 10 finishes in Atlanta. He's crashed out of 2 of the last 3 on this track. I don't know.
That's the part that's tough is him crashing out often. Gragson, though, it's been, man, for as much as we love Gragson, we wanted to bet on him before, been kind of a rough season. He's been kind of quiet. I think I'm going to stick with Mr. Briscoe here and ride the 19 train.
And I'm going to fade the 19 train. This will be where I go with the 4. I'm going to give Gragson the benefit of the doubt because I feel like I know that I just read stats for Ty Dillon and kind of poo-pooed Ty Dillon. And Noah Gragson hasn't finished a race here in the last 3 seasons.
Ooh.
So this is tough.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'm sticking with Briscoe for sure.
No, this is my upset. So this is the one where I differentiate from everybody else because everybody wants to go, ooh, Chase Briscoe won last week, and that's great.
By the way,
he's gonna get caught up in something.
Briscoe minus 200, Gragson plus 145. We're never going to tell you to take minus 200 on a super speedway in particular. Again, if you would like to do that, go for it. But if you're going to bet this, I would take the Gragson side of things.
Oh, so beautiful. All right, let's go to the next on the bracket where we got the 3 seed taking on the 30 seed. Chris Buescher taking on Todd Gilliland. Everybody loves some Todd Gilliland lately. There's a lot of Gilly love in this world. Chris Buescher, Todd Gilliland, since in the next gen era, the 1788 wins against Todd Gilliland's 36 on the head-to-heads in the season. Chris Buescher again holding the edge 12-2, but on this track, Todd Gilliland one better 4-3 in the head-to-head matchups. Similar tracks, very close actually. Chris Buescher 11, Todd Gilliland 10. What say you, Cody? Are you a big Gilly fan, or are you looking for some Buescher love?
You know how much I love Mr. Gilly, Rod, but I'm feeling Chris Buescher on this. And if Chris Buescher can get through Atlanta, going to back-to-back road courses, buddy, he's going to be a dangerous one. 16-1, by the way. We'll circle back around to that because his outright is 16-1, and that is a bet that I do like when it comes to the outright side of things. But yeah, I'm going to take Chris Buescher on this. He's minus 175, Gilliland plus 130. Again, I wouldn't bet the minus 175 part of it. If you wanted to go through here and bet every single one of these plus money ones, I would say you've got a pretty decent chance to come out ahead just because of sheer super speedway chaos, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's a matter of how you would like to. Obviously, I forgot to roll the disclaimer. I'm sorry, JDK, I forgot to roll it. Todd Gilliland, average finish 20.4.
Well, we'll save that for the pick show later, Rod.
Yes, we will. And the average finish for Chris Buescher 21.1.
Oh, yeah. The most important point. Thank you, cousin Danny. Glad you're here. And yes, he's running the Cinnamon Toast Crunch paint scheme this weekend, right. Rod. You cannot bet against that car. One of the most beautiful race cars I've ever seen. They've got a bunch of merch for it too. I need to get that because I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, probably my favorite cereal, and the car is just beautiful.
I do love me some Cinnamon Toast. See, this is why we're simpatico. We both like the same cereal. It's probably my favorite.
It's so fucking good, man.
It is. Man. Next to Reese's Puffs. I like Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs are good, but they're not like I'm a big Reese's fan, but I'd just rather have the candy. But Cinnamon Toast Crunch takes the top spot of the podium.
Do we need to do the cereal bracket? I think we need to do
Fruity Pebbles are a close second, Rod, but okay. That's an off-season content. We'll have a cereal bracket challenge.
Hell yeah, we will. All right. Next on the list, Christopher Bell, the 4th seed, taking on Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the 29th seed. I feel like there's really no need to break down the head-to-head here. It's almost a no-brainer. Next gen era for Christopher Bell versus Stenhouse, 93-32 in favor of Christopher Bell. This season, 13-4. The 20 car has the edge. This track, also a 20 car favorite, 5-2, and then similar tracks, 12-9. Christopher Bell has it. Marcus is already all on board with Christopher Bell. Do you think this is an upset waiting to happen?
Well, Rod, I would hate for Christopher Bell to be holding his iPad and say they doubted me by picking Richard Stenhouse here. But I am actually going to take Mr. Stenhouse. I'm feeling the 47 car, and I think, again, that's the thing is the tough part about this is you look at the overall stats and sure, Bell has the edge, but Stenhouse, a good super speedway guy. All he has to do is get him one time, and that's it. You just get him one time. So give me the 47 car.
Give you the 47 car. I want to pull the trigger on that. I want to feel like I did, but obviously him winning here in the spring, Christopher Bell, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
Stenhouse
gives you.
is due for one.
Well, Stenhouse may be due for one. He did finish 5th, so I mean it was a really close finish, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. The way Stenhouse has been driving lately, give me the 20. I'll take the 20.
It's, honestly, like I don't think there's really a wrong answer on any of these. And part of what makes it fun, right? Even in basketball, sure, there's always going to be upsets, but a majority of the best seeds are going to win. That's not the case here. Like this really can go either way anytime. And yes, just like anytime we bet on these types of tracks, certain guys have advantages over the others, but all it takes is one race here and give me Stenhouse. By the way, plus 145 for Stenhouse, minus 200 for Bell. So again, if you're looking for a plus money matchup, the Stenhouse side is the way to go.
I feel like there's no coincidence that all of the higher seeds are pretty big minus money favorites. However, I don't know that you should be doing. I mean, especially on a super speedway, I kind of
don't tell them, Ron.
Okay, my bad.
Just
My bad.
I don't bet all the plus money guys, and you're probably going to come out ahead.
Much like I won't tell people how to gamble or how to use their units, I won't tell books how to actually handicap there. So sorry, books. I'm sorry. Elliot, the
Host,
fifth.
TK saying Hocevar pushed Stenhouse to the win. Hey, he was pushing him last week at Pocono, Rod. I don't know if you saw when they got together. He was not trying to pass him.
No. What I loved was how far back he was staying. Like he was really just like tiptoeing around. And anytime he would try to peek, and Ricky was having none of that. That's what I love. That's when Hamlin and Larson find each other on the track all the time, or when Hamlin and Chastain found each other on the track a couple of times after they got in their little issue. So gotta love it. All right, Elliott and Austin Dillon taking on each other. The 5th seed taking on the 28th seed in this instance. If we look at the overall stats for these gentlemen, you will find that the 9 car, he's the 5th seed, 9 car. There you go. Has the advantage overall, 86-32 in the next gen era in their matchups this season, 13-4. A little bit, I would expect to see a little bit more, but now 13-4 overall this season, and then 5-1 on this track. Similar tracks, 14-6. Cody, where do you weigh in on this one? I know Chase is your favorite driver.
Well, I wore the shirt just for this, Rob.
Of course you did.
I got the Chase Elliott shirt on, but yeah, I'm going Chase Elliott on this. Actually, spoiler alert, he's going to be one of my outright picks tonight when we talk about the Atlanta race. He's really good at this track. And Dillon obviously can be a good super speedway driver. He's won the Daytona 500 and other super speedways. But Elliott, to no surprise, right? He's Mr. Consistent, has also been extremely consistent at this track, gets good finishes more times than he doesn't. So yeah, give me Chase Elliott in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want a little more context, 13 starts, 8 top 10s, 2 top 5s, and a win. Average finish 12.2. Austin Dillon, on the other hand, on this track, average finish of 21.1. He does not have a top 10 finish since 2021, before the next gen era. So yeah, most definitely a Chase Elliott. And I mean, again, it's not hard to pick that one because that one sort of jumps out at you. So the 9 is mine as well, as I keep track on my old school
By the way, this is the biggest, I believe, the biggest matchup now on DraftKings, plus 190 as far as the number for Austin Dillon. Elliott is minus 265. So even though I'm taking Elliott, again, don't bet it. If you want to throw some on, look at almost 2-1 in any head-to-head at a super speedway, things can happen, right? So, I mean, that's really honestly going to be the betting advice for most of these. Is if you want to take a head-to-head, take the plus money sides at once.
But here's what and this goes to a larger issue, and before we'll head into the break right after this, because we gotta knock out our final commercial break, and then we'll come back with the rest of them. But this leads into a bigger discussion that maybe we'll have over the offseason as well. 2 things can happen in a NASCAR race. You can finish poorly, you can wreck out. Okay, I'm fine. 3 things can happen, right? or your crew chief can make a bad call, or your tire can pop, or there's debris on the track, or when we start making these calls and we start making these predictions, we start prognosticating, right? We're doing it in a perfect world. If everything goes the way it's supposed to go, this is what we think could happen.
Sometimes we even account for imperfect worlds, right?
And then everything goes perfectly. So again, NASCAR, you do what you want to do. You are grown adults. We're just here to have fun with you and bring things to your attention and hopefully help you, usher you in some money. But yeah, I don't know. As super speedway, especially, this is where we're at. All right. We'll be back with more coming up soon. But first, let me tell you about Underdog. Underdog's Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trade. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also has great places to play Pick'em. It's not out yet, but it should be, and that's Isaac Hadger, wherever that young man is. I know he missed the points last week, but he has been a staple in the points in Formula One. Go grab that man at the Austrian Grand Prix and make sure that you put him in wherever he's at. Take the better than in whatever he's at, because he has just been a definite cheat code all season long. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Claim that special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. You have heard us talk about Rhythm before. They just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. There's no touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we're going to. Get your 7-day free trial today by sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, Cody, let us continue down this bracket road. We left off with Chase Elliott taking on Austin Dillon. Let us move now to Tyrone Gibbs. I just say that because I want the thing, the AI that scripts it out. Tyrone Gibbs taking on Justin Haley, the 6th seed versus the 27th seed. I already know where I'm at. King already knows where I'm at. I don't care what the stats say, but I will read them off to you just so you know. Ty Gibbs, 62-42 head-to-head in the next-gen era. This season, 12-5 for Ty Gibbs over Justin Haley. But this track, Justin Haley with the slight edge, 3-2. Similar tracks, Ty Gibbs hold a very, very slight edge at 9-8. I'm already inked in with the 7 car. Cody, are you? I'm not reading off any stats for him. I don't care.
62-42 is a lot closer than it should be, Rod. That's sort of a bit of a disappointing statistic he gave out there, especially for the time that Mr. Haley spent at Colleague and Rick Ware, but nonetheless, this is actually a pretty tough one for me. You know how much I love Tyrone Gibbs, but Haley's been pretty good at this track through multiple different teams. And you know, spoiler, he's going to be on my picks for later. That being said, Rod, this is a toss-up head-to-head, so I could just pick Ty Gibbs here. And if he can make it through this round, whole body watch out for them road courses with Ty Gibbs. So give me the 54 car. We're going with Tyrone Gibbs. King is in the chat. I can't not pick Ty Gibbs while he's sitting right here in front of me, Rod. Jeez, I don't see any Justin Haley fan club members over here, so give me Tyrone Gibbs.
And King pretends to be shocked. However, does Flacco's with me on the 7 car. Thank you very much, Boji Joe. I'm going to go ahead and,
this is one of the tougher ones, honestly. I do really like Haley, and at plus 135 for Haley on that side of things, minus 185 for Gibbs, so you're not going to take that side, but I don't hate the Haley bet. And hey, if you want to hedge out of your pick, you pick Gibbs, bet on Haley. I don't know.
Look, here's the thing. I used up all the nice things I could say about both Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar the last couple of weeks, so I'm out. I got nothing left in the tank for that. So, yeah, definitely give me Haley on this one. All right, next up on the list, we're going with the 7 and the 26. Ryan Blaney over Carson Hocevar. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this one, but I will read off.
Probably guess, Rod.
Well, let me educate you on the matchup between Ryan Blaney and Carson Hocevar. If I can find it, there it is. Head-to-head stats in the next gen era. You want to talk about close with Ty Gibbs and what's his face? Then how about Ryan Blaney and Carson Hocevar head-to-head 41-21, believe it or not, in that one. This season 11-6. This track 2-1 in the next gen era. Similar tracks 5-5. Crown them already. Give him the freaking crown.
Look, 11-6 for Hocevar to be only 5 behind Blaney. That's pretty good. And Blaney's been great at this track. I will say that. I think he's got the best average finisher. He's one of the top drivers for best average finish in Atlanta. Been really good here for sure. But also he's been one of the most inconsistent drivers all year, Rod. It's tough. He is the favorite, as Boji Joe is pointing out here. And as Samuel says, Penske at Atlanta is nuts. They have been hella good here. But again, it's Atlanta. It's a toss-up. This is a great place to pick with your heart, Rod. Although I do love both these drivers. There used to be a Ryan Blaney's corner on the show. Give me Carson Hocevar.
I wish I
This is one of those things where, as you're going through filling out your basketball bracket, you just got to pick some upsets here and there. This is one of those upsets, right? 26 over 7. I'll take it.
Oh, it's one of those upsets. It's not the upset, and it's not going to happen, but that's all right. Hey, listen, if you're looking for, by the way, a printable bracket, our friends over at iFantasy Race actually have a NASCAR in-season challenge printable bracket. So just a quick plug for you out there. I would venture to say you should do that and give us, send a picture of that.
Yeah, you can screenshot that or, take a picture of your written bracket. Those will be accepted. Just make it somewhat legible because I'm going to have to hand score all these, unfortunately. But, yeah, that is what it is. I was also looking at this matchup or trying to find this matchup, Rod, over on the DraftKings. It's escaping me at the moment.
Probably not giving it to you because they don't want Ryan Blaney -200, Carson Hocevar +145.
Why can I not find that? That is a great bet on Mr. Hocevar, Rod.
All right, next up on the list, Alex Bowman, the 48 car, taking on the hardest guy to handicap in the entire field, Joey Logano, 25th seed. I'm gonna make you put your money where your mouth is, Cody. You got to pick one.
Yeah, give me Joe. Give me Joseph Logano, Rod. I'm going to take him. It's been pretty rough here for Alex Bowman lately. You know how much I love Bowman, and if Bowman can get through, he won Chicago last year. He's great at road courses. I believe he's also pretty good at Dover. Could be a scary bet for sure, but hard to bet against Joseph. And, again, the point was made earlier, Penske being great here. If I'm already going to fade Blaney a little bit, maybe I make it back with Logano. I had him as one of my first 4 out in our playoff bracket last year. He goes on to win the championship. I'm not going to be embarrassed like that again by Joey Logano. If he loses in the first round, then fine, it's fine. But if I don't have him and he wins this by the way, something new, Rod, that we're trying, something new to NASCAR, Joey Logano.
I'm telling you. He's still driving off of that same fuel tank that he was a few weeks ago. So he's definitely stretched that thing out. Just for context, Joey Logano leads the head-to-head battle here, 64-53 over Alex Bowman. This season, Alex Bowman has a 1-race lead, 9-8. But on this track, Joey Logano, 6-1 over Alex Bowman. And similar tracks, 11-9 over Bowman for Logano. So if you're so inclined, I know I'm taking the 22 as well. This is going to be one of my upset brackets as well. All right, let's move on to the 9 and the 24 seed, where we've got Bubba Wallace taking on Daniel Suarez. What's tough about this one? And I'll read you the stats
There's
here.
nothing tough about this one.
Well, okay, tough heartstrings, right? Bubba Wallace has the overall head-to-head result lead here, 70-54. Over Suarez this season, it's 11-6. On this track, though, Daniel Suarez 5-2, and then on similar tracks, Daniel Suarez 11-10. Bubba Wallace has really fallen on some serious hard times. You can hear it in the interviews. You can see it in his face. He's probably calling for himself to get fired. I mean, it's tough, man, to be a Bubba Wallace fan and be Bubba Wallace, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, this is easy. Daniel Suarez, even though he's the 24 to Wallace's 9. Suarez loves this track. He has been excellent here. We will be talking about him in multiple facets tonight on the betting episode. And look, 23-11, honestly, and this came up in the Discord, they've just kind of been junk lately. Like Reddick has sucked this year. Bubba's had some solid days, and we started to see, but yeah, bad luck, Bubba, as Joe Flacco says in the chat. Hey, it's just, I don't think you could trust the 23 team right now. Great super speedway driver. Could he get it done? Absolutely. But I think it's hard to fade Daniel Suarez at this track in particular.
Yeah, and it's tough because you look at Daniel Suarez as the last, you going back even to the next gen era, 4th, 6th, 29th, happens super speedway, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 33 earlier in the spring. It sucked. He crashed out of that one. But yeah, I mean, really good finishes here for Daniel Suarez. I also will be taking the 99.
This is our first one, Rod, minus 115 on either side. So don't love minus 115 head-to-heads on, super speedways, but I would easily take the Daniel Suarez side of this in the betting side as well as the bracket side.
I concur. All right, let's move on to the 10th seed, Kyle Larson, taking on the other 2311 driver, Tyler Reddick. I mean, look, there's one commandment that we preach time and time again.
Oh, but Rod, he's got 2 top 5s in a row on super speedways. How could you possibly fade Kyle Larson? 44th in average finish at Atlanta in the next gen era. That's one number below Tyler Reddick's 45. Give me Tyler Reddick.
Let me read off some stats for you to go along with that. Kyle Larson this season, 71 to 53 overall. This season in general, 12-5. On this track, though, Tyler Reddick, 5-2. And then similar tracks, 10-11. Tyler Reddick on the bad end of that one. Kyle Larson has a 1-race lead. Here's the thing, Cody. I'm going with Kyle Larson over Tyler Reddick. I feel like 2311's struggles will extend into this race, and I think Kyle Larson doesn't need a top 5 finish this week to be better than Tyler Reddick. I just think maybe a 15th place finish or whatever, that'll get him there, right? I think Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, their troubles are running a little deep right now, and I think this is
That's the one thing that scares me the most. I've always had a rule: you take every head-to-head you can get against Kyle Larson. It's slowed down lately on the super speedways, right? He's gotten a couple of good finishes. Does that mean he's figured it out and he's gotten it completely? I don't know. We will talk a little bit later. This is less of a super speedway, I guess, than the other two, kind of as it's ironed out lately. It's been less chaotic, but that being said, he's not been good here other than a couple of good finishes here lately. So I'm going to stick with it. This is one more. I've reviewed the commandment. I have sent it to the consultants, and we have decided, Rod, the consultants were me, myself, and I, but we have decided that we're going to continue the Kyle Larson fade one more time and go on from that point in time.
Larson minus 150 to win the matchup over Tyler Reddick plus 110. I mean,
the chat is just blowing up, which I love and appreciate all you guys. But the experts suck saying I don't know much about Reddick, but he's unbettable. He is. I get it. But look up Kyle Larson's super speedway statistics. He has, I believe it's now, is it 3 or 4 top 5s in like 58 career super speedway starts? It's really bad, Rod. But there's 36 full-time drivers, and he's 44th in average finish at this track. Hey, yeah, I just can't do it. Give me Tyler Reddick.
Well, and Tyler Reddick too, in and of his own right. If you're really talking about trying to wrench your hands at that, his 24th overall, his average finished 20.6 in the next gen era in Atlanta. So, yeah.
By the way, Tyler Reddick plus 110 in this head-to-head. Kyle Larson minus 150. Oh yeah, give me Tyler Reddick all day, baby.
All right, this one's a fun one. It is Michael McDowell as the 11th seed and AJ Allmendinger as the 22nd seed.
Dude, whichever one of these guys gets through, super fucking dangerous with Chicago and Sonoma coming up, because these guys are obviously both great at those tracks. That if they get, whichever one of these guys survives, and both great super speedway racers, to be honest with you, whichever one of these guys gets through, going to be extremely dangerous going forward.
Yeah, so AJ Allmendinger has the head-to-head advantage overall since the next gen era started, 46-41. This season, AJ Allmendinger 9 to Michael McDowell's 8 victories in the head-to-head battle on this track, 2-1 for AJ Allmendinger, and similar tracks, 7-4. just like Cody said, I mean, AJ Allmendinger is one of those, everybody thinks of him as a road course racer. However, in 16 starts on this track, he does have 4 top 10s and a top 5. Third place last year in the spring, or a couple of seasons ago in the spring, rather, when he was just before this was his last season as a cup racer. So earlier this year, 14th. I mean, I'm going with the 16 because I don't ever want to go against the 16. So I'll take him over 71.
Yeah, he's also. I'm going with Allmendinger rather in this, which is going to bring, at least in my bracket, an Allmendinger Gibbs matchup next round. Pretty excited for Chicago, or pretty exciting matchup for Chicago there. But yeah, I'm with you on this as well. I think AJ is just a guy that you can trust a little bit more. He's been extremely great at this track and great on super speedways in general. He is plus 120 in this matchup, by the way. McDowell minus 160, so the book's favoring the McDowell side of things. Got him exactly where we want him, Rod. Give us AJ all day.
Yeah, and here's the thing. AJ all day, like Samuel Smith says, McDowell doesn't know how to lead the field. And that's proof positive because he's got 2 poles here in the last 3 races, does McDowell. So you figure that somebody that starts on the pole should have the speed to at least challenge for the win. He did finish 8th, though, in 2024, but 22nd in the fall of 2024. So, yep, definitely give me AJ as well. All right, let us move on to the 12th seed we've got John Hunter Nemechek taking on Josh Berry, a callback to earlier in the episode where we were taking John Hunter Nemechek over Josh Berry all day long. Let's see. When we dig into the stats a little bit, John Hunter Nemechek is actually 1 race behind overall Josh Berry in the head-to-heads in the next-gen era, 27-26 in favor of the 21 car. This season, John Hunter 9 to Josh Berry's 8 times. This track, John Hunter Nemechek 2 versus Josh Berry 1. Similar tracks, John Hunter Nemechek 6 versus 3 for Josh Berry. This one's kind of a tail of the tape, right? This is a very, very close matchup, even on paper. So, you know what's crazy? I don't think they really meant it to be. Obviously, they didn't mean it to be this way. But like when you start putting these guys together like this, the numbers are so damn close, and that's kind of where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, this is where it has actually kind of worked out to where you're getting some pretty good matchups in the first round. I will say when they first dropped the contest over at NASCAR, I auto-filled a bracket just to see what it looked like if we were able to screenshot it, trying to figure out our portion of the contest. And the autofill, John Hunter Nemechek won, Rod. So 80-1, by the way, that's a bet I think you have to place. And yeah, this is a good matchup because, as it's been pointed out, Penske's been really good here. Berry was included in that in the spring race here. But John Hunter Nemechek, he's got 2 top 5s or 2 top 10s in a row, whatever it is. He's been on fire. Legacy's been great so far. So I'm all over the John Hunter Nemechek train. As I am every week, right? He cashed that 10-1 for us last week. Helped save face a little bit in the cup betting portion of things. But yeah, give me John Hunter Nemechek.
Yep, plus 110 or plus 130 rather over on DraftKings over Josh Berry minus 175.
Like it. Yep.
Yeah,
give me that too.
Definitely something I am eyeballing as well. All right, let's move over to the 13th place matchup as we see Ross Chastain taking on Eric Jones. I don't know. I know they didn't mean to do this, but it's kind of crazy that both legacy drivers are right next to each other, a lot like both 2311 drivers are kind of right next to each other. So, yeah, Nemechek and
a legacy matchup in the the Final Four. Ooh, interesting.
That would be crazy. So Ross Chastain, Eric Jones. I mean, this is tough because we just talked about how good Daniel Suarez is on this track. Ross Chastain, I mean, one of those guys where he's 5th overall in next gen finishes average, 2nd in the spring of 2022, 2nd in the fall of 2022, then 13th, 35th in 2023, 2024 he was 7th and 13th. Then earlier in the spring he was 8th, 11.4 his average finish so far. Eric Jones, we know he's pretty good, right? His average finish though 17th. If you're starting to look at the tail of the tape between these two guys, you're going to see that Ross Chastain has the overall head-to-head stats, 82-41 overall over Eric Jones, 12-5 for Ross Chastain this season, 5-2 on this track, and 11-10 on similar tracks. So do we think that Legacy can get it done on this particular track, or is this one where we're going to get Ross Chastain?
Got him right where we want him, Rod. Everybody thinks Ross Chastain. Give me Eric Jones. I'm not fading that Jones boy right now. Legacy's on fire, Rod. They're firing on all cylinders. Things are looking great over there. Eric Jones, sneaky good. I know Talladega is his true jam, but sneaky good plate racer. So give me that Jones boy.
I'm. You know what? I'm gonna just take Ross Chastain. I know I'm breaking my Legacy Motor Club rule.
Rod going against Legacy Motor Club. All those years of Jimmy Johnson fandom for nothing. Just thrown out the window like that. Absolutely no respect, Rod. Shameful.
Hey, you know what it is? I just don't want to have to root between my two kids when John Hunter and Eric Jones make it there. So, again, Ross Chastain, though, he's got such a great track record on this track.
Don't forget, Jimmy Johnson finished third in the Daytona 500. Rod, Legacy knows their super speedways. Thank you, Samuel.
So excited that he did that too. I love it. All right, and then
did we give out the number for that? Plus 165 for Eric Jones, minus 230 for Ross Chastain. So, give me Eric Jones.
Tell you what, here's what I'll do. I will bet on Eric Jones, and I will go with Ross Chastain in my bracket.
That's not a bad plan on some of these. Like, even if you're picking one way in your bracket, it is okay to bet the other way. It's that old emotional hedge that me and the Cornhuskers have been through so many times, Rob.
I'm taking a page out of your book, so I love that for sure. All right, let's move on to Zane Smith, the 14th seed, taking on Austin Cindric, the 19th seed. We know that Austin Cindric is a solid super speedway racer, and that we also know that Zane Smith has been just a touch on the sad side lately. Overall, Austin Cindric 40-22 over Zane Smith head to head. This season 10-7 for Austin Cindric. This track 2-1. Similar tracks 6 and 5. I mean,
this one feels not even really that close to me, honestly. And cousin Danny, I hope you're listening. But yeah, give me Austin Cindric over Zane Smith.
It's
he thought I was going to pick Zane to win it all, but I feel like I haven't been on Zane. I have to go back and check the tape, Proud, but I feel like I've been on Zane lately because he's just kind of been disappointing. We started the season off with some hope and some glimmer, and it trailed off, and I feel like I've trailed off too. But Cindric is a great super speedway racer. Honestly, I mean, he might be on the Mount Rushmore of current super speedway guys. Again, the Penske prominence has been noted here as well. And Smith just hasn't been doing it lately. So, yeah, give me Austin Cindric.
Yes, indeed. All right, Cindric for pole. I don't know. He's not Michael McDowell. Can't really do that, can we?
How dare I turn my back on Saint Smith? Well,
you are ostracized now from the fan club. All right, couple more as we move on down the bracket. We have got Ryan Preece as the 15th seed, taking on William Byron as the 18th seed.
What a tough draw for Ryan Preece here, Rod. What a tough draw.
It does suck, too, because if you look at it, William Byron head-to-head 69-22 overall this season, nice. 10-7. I know, I didn't give you a pause. But on this track, Ryan Preece, 3, William Byron, 2. Similar tracks, 13-2 overall. I mean, William Byron, 14th overall in average finish on this track, according to our friends over at iFantasy Race at 16.7. And then Ryan Preece actually is 25th and with 20.8. What are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, Preece has had some bad luck on the super speedways lately, a couple of bad wrecks over the past couple of years. But look, I would love to pick Preece here, but it's so hard to go against William Byron. And I think as we continue to fill out the bracket, when are you going to choose to fade William Byron, who is the most consistent driver in the entire field? I know things didn't work out last week. They struggled, obviously, hit the wall in practice or qualifying, I think it was. Starts bad, but there was promise, right? He looked fast. He was carving through the field, and then just things didn't work out, and he got stuck back there. That's all it takes, right? One bad race, and you are gone, right? And yes, Samuel, I think I've got – well, no, I don't think that was outright was the bet, but Ryan Preece is on my betting card for tonight. But I don't think you can bet against William Byron, literally, in this case. And I think you have to ride with William Byron, who, by the way, back-to-back Daytona 500 winner. Like, he's great on super speedways as well. Best average finish this year. It's too tough to go against him. Now, he's minus 190. I wouldn't bet on him. Preece at plus 140. You could absolutely, make a case for that. But give me William Byron in the bracket.
I have to do it too. As much as I want to take an upset here, I think you're kind of having to take William Byron at this point because it'd be hard for me to pick somebody on this bracket that I would take over William Byron at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like I could very much make a case for anybody or Byron over anybody. So I think I have to do that with Priest. All right. I think we're down to our last matchup. Are we not? Our 16-17.
I believe that's the last matchup of the first round, Rob.
I know we don't hammer things anymore, but this is probably the hammer of all hammer.
Well,
Kyle Busch.
This is the track, though. If you could pick one track currently, this is the one track you'd give him, Rod.
Yeah, I suppose. How about Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, 16-17? Do I have to read off the stats for you? Kyle Busch, head-to-heads in the next-gen era, 73-52. This season, Kyle Busch over Brad Keselowski, 12-5. This track, Kyle Busch 4, Brad Keselowski 3. Similar tracks, 14-7. What are you feeling, Cody?
Well, Rod, you seem to have a very obvious side of this. Which side are you taking?
You know, with the way that Brad Keselowski has been as of late, right? As he's been running quickly. Now, granted, I will tell you that he runs into almost as much trouble as does Kyle Busch. But
this is like almost a scripted matchup right here. Like, did anybody double check and make sure that this is actually the right matchup, or did NASCAR just because we've been getting this head to head for like 10 weeks? It's been out there. These two guys have just been matched up time and time again. It's great. But
well, let me put this in a little bit of context, right? So Kyle Busch, especially this season, right? He's only got the one top 5, the 5 top 10s. But like Kyle Busch has been extremely frustrating. And as you look at what's been going on with him lately, what was it? 20th last week, 37th the week before. He did pop up with that 8th place finish and the 12th place finish and the 15th place finish to make us think Kyle Busch is back. But 21st, 20th, 27th. It's just, in Atlanta earlier this season, it was 7th place, but we thought, okay, Kyle Busch back in there. Let's go. And then the wheels fell off. So I'm taking Brad Keselowski. Just don't know if I feel good about it, I guess.
Rowdy Nation himself, Justin Burton, checking in, says this is the week Rowdy Nation gets laid. I think that everybody is going to be picking Brad Keselowski here, Rod, and I can see why you would. Give me the 8 car. I'll take Kyle Busch. I'm going to be different in my part of the bracket here. And look, Keselowski, a great super speedway, right? One of the greatest probably to ever do it if you look specifically at Talladega. But it's either checkers or wreckers for Keselowski every single time we go to a super speedway. He's either winning or he's wrecking. And I know that Busch has been doing a lot of his own wrecking, but he's also been great at this track. Had that 3-wide finish here last year. You mentioned the 7th in the spring. Won the truck race here in the spring. He's loved this new Atlanta track. I think he's going to be just fine. He doesn't have to win this, I don't think. But it's more about Keselowski makes a lot of mistakes. And maybe they're not even mistakes. He's just the most aggressive driver on super speedways. That's worked out for him a lot. But it's also not worked out for him a lot. I'm going to bet on maybe it doesn't work out for him this time. I'm also going to bet on being different because I think that this will be one of the more popular favorite picks on the Keselowski side of things. Although the books actually have this -130 for Busch and -105 for Keselowski, and you've got to think that that's track history here. But I don't think I would bet either side of this if we're going to be completely honest.
Boy, think about it this way, okay? Let's say that Keselowski does make it through and Logano makes it through. That is going to be one hell of a bracket to have to pick between, unfortunately, because you get the hardest guy in the garage to handicap versus the hardest guy in the garage to handicap. I kind of don't even know what to do at that point. So,
absolutely. Okay, Rod. So we filled out our entire first round. Should we quickly go through the remaining matchups and fill out the rest of our bracket?
Sure, let's do that.
I think the easiest way would just be start at the top left and work our way down. So I've got Ty Dillon versus Kyle Busch. I believe you have Denny Hamlin versus Brad Keselowski.
Oh, you know what? That's going to be too difficult because I have it all written down on the whiteboard. Let's just do this. Let's make that a Discord exclusive where we will post the rest of our bracket. So
all right.
I'm just saying, like, because I wrote it down on the whiteboard. I can't recall that quickly.
Fine. Okay. Is there any head-to-heads that really stick out to you that you super want to bet on, Rod?
Well, other than the aforementioned Brad Keselowski at -105 over Kyle Busch, I like that one. I do like the Justin Haley plus 135 over Ty Gibbs. Super excited about the Daniel Suarez minus 115. I know you say you don't like it, but that's really the one where
that's actually one, even at minus 115, I would consider that. Suarez has just been so good here. AJ Allmendinger over McDowell at plus 120, I think is my favorite one on the board. If we were forcing me just to pick one, that is one that I really love. I was trying to just kind of look up and down. Eric Jones at plus 165 over Chastain. I do like that one. Nemechek over Barry at plus 130 as well. Again, trying to find the plus money matchups that you like the most. Those, I think, are the three that I like the most. Give me the two legacy boys. Give me AJ Allmendinger. And then, so if you want to bet on the outright winner of this, Rod, DraftKings has it under the championship, NASCAR Cup Series championship tab. There is a NASCAR in-season challenge. So that will be the one driver remaining at the end of the day with this. Denny Hamlin 5-1, Byron 5-1, Larson plus 550, Bell, Reddick, Briscoe, Elliott's 12-1, Blaney's 14-1, Logano, Busher, Chastain. As you kind of look through it, it's tough to bet, I think, on any of the favorites just because there's so many wild cards in here. You've got Atlanta, you've got Chicago, even Sonoma could be a bit of a wild card. And then we get to our final ones. A couple that I'm going to highlight that I really like, Chris Buescher at 16-1. I really love his side of the bracket. Also, interestingly, maybe the easier corner, I suppose, although you could run into like an Allmendinger at Sonoma. But I do like Buescher at 16-1. AJ Allmendinger is pretty interesting at 40-1 just because of all the road courses in here. If he could get through, I mentioned Nemechek at 80-1. That's one I like as well. Eric Jones at 150-1. Honestly, there's a lot of long shots. Like, you could make a pretty solid case for some of these guys. A guy like Eric Jones, say he gets to the first round and he ends up matched against Stenhouse at Chicago. Okay, you like that. So you move to the next round. Potentially it's Daniel Suarez or Joey Logano at Sonoma. Like, sure, Suarez won there before, but Jones could suddenly find himself at Dover, in the Final Four here. Could be certainly interesting. At 150-1, I don't mind that either.
So I'm looking at Chase Elliott at 12-1 right now. I do like that because if you look at Elliott, let's say he makes it through the first round over Dillon. He's got either Nemechek or Barry, which is pretty simple, I think, at that point. Even though Nemechek's been running well, obviously we know Chase Elliott, road course guy, can get it done there. And then he's either getting Chastain or Jones or Bell or Stenhouse. And, if I'm thinking that it's going to be Chastain or Bell, and then let's say on the road course, Bell gets the best of Chastain. Now it's Elliott Bell. I think Elliott can win that one heading into the third round. So, yeah, his path there is kind of I don't want to say an easy path, but it's an easier one to get him at least into the Final Four. And from there, he could probably take care of work. We talk about it, Mr. Consistency. And at 12-1, when you start to look around, like you said, at the favorites at Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Bell, Reddick, Briscoe, right? He's even underneath Briscoe at 12-1. Like, you should not have Chase Elliott. Now, Ryan Blaney, my heart bleeds for Ryan Blaney, right? At 14-1, which is, something that we talk about him consistently too. But with Ryan Blaney, it's just, he's got to beat Hocevar, but then he's got to either beat Larson or Reddick. And we think it's going to be Larson. Larson Blaney, that's a really tough matchup. That's especially at a road course, right? Where we know that Larson is, street course, I guess, a non-traditional course where Larson could probably get the better out of Blaney. So that's a tough road to hoe there too. So I think Elliott's path might be the easiest of all the guys that are at least under and around the 12-1 area. So yeah, I think I like Elliott at 12-1.
Yeah, I don't mind that for sure. Boji Joe bringing up a good question. How different is this bracket compared to the playoffs? It's extremely different because the points don't matter, right? Where you finish in the stages doesn't matter. Nothing else like that matters. And it's not over the course of 3 races, just trying to outpoint guys to get to. This is just simply mano-a-mano. You're matched up against one other guy. Go beat him in this race. If you do that, you're on to the next round. In that next round, you're matched up against one guy. Go on and beat him in the next race. So it is quite a bit different. And again, it's just simply finish better, right? So Denny Hamlin could be beating Ty Dillon every single lap of this, get dumped from the lead on the final lap. Dillon beats him in 32nd, and he moves on to the next round, and it's over for Hamlin, right? There's no loser bracket or way to come back to the points. It's just simply you're matched up against the one guy you're matched up against, and that's it. And then, it we'll have different matchups every week. So there's 16 this week. Next week there will be 8. I would assume the books will have those 8 matchups. We will cover that in one way or another. And then the next week there's going to be 4. Then there's going to be 2. And then, of course, the last week, that's going to be a big topic, right? And we'll make sure to cover that on the main show because it's going to be just these are the last 2 guys. Whoever finishes better gets $1 million. That's going to be a big storyline throughout the broadcast, throughout the week, really, is those 2 guys going at it for $1 million.
Yeah, again, this is going to be a fun one to pay attention to. Obviously, we'll give you a quick recap, especially in the Discord of our picks and how they ended up going in the bracket. We're anxious to see all of yours because 1,000% would like to keep up with you guys. And of course, we want you to enter the contest as well. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NASCAR to go enter that contest and fill out your bracket and have some fun.
Yeah, make sure you go to NASCAR's website. You can submit it on there. They're giving out prizes to win too, but then just screenshot that or make a different one. You can print off your own. Like Rod said, iFantasy Race has got his own printable one. You can print it off, write down your answers and submit that on there. But 1 entry per person, right? And we'll score it the same way that NASCAR scores theirs. I honestly did not look up the scoring, but whatever NASCAR has listed as their scoring, that's how we're going to score it the same way. And then, ties will be broken here on the show as needed. But yeah, giving away some gift cards and a fun little contest for everybody. So we'd appreciate it if you join, and why not for some free shit, right?
Why not? Justin asking if there's going to be a tournament pod every week, or is this the only one? Unfortunately, this is the only one.
Yeah, this will be the only one. But, we'll have 8 matchups next week. So either we'll run through them quick on the pick show, or it'll be a YouTube short thing or something like that. But we'll definitely continue to discuss it throughout this entire thing, as long as they keep giving us odds, which, again, this is the in-season challenge presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. So, NASCAR was good in going and finding a betting partner to do this, because why wouldn't you make a big thing out of betting on it if you're going to have it, right? That's a great aspect to keep people involved. NASCAR's realizing that, and as we continue to see gambling growing in the racing industry and the NASCAR industry, it's good to see them embrace that.
Indeed. Just to answer Bozy Joe's question real quick, how many races are involved? There are 5 races overall. Yep. 4 in the prelim round, and then 1 championship round.
Yep. So Echo Park Automotive Speedway this week, Rod, aka Atlanta. Then Chicago will be the round of 8. The round of 4 will be Sonoma. Or no, wait. Sorry, let me start that over. Atlanta will be 32 this week. Chicago will be 16 next week. Sonoma will be the Elite 8, basically. Dover will be the Final 4, and then you'll be down to 2 drivers head-to-head. $1 million to the winner of those 2, whoever finishes better in Indianapolis at the Brickyard 400.
Fun stuff. Absolutely fun stuff. Cannot wait to watch all of this shake out. And then, of course, cannot wait to get down tonight, if we can, for our Cup Picks episode, because we're waiting on the odds for that as well. All right, Cody. Well, then, we have thoroughly broken down this bracket, and we have thoroughly given out some of our first-round picks. Obviously, this is a cheap plug for the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Go in there. We'll give you the rest of our brackets, and you guys can have some fun with us as well. Look, if you want the winning bracket, take mine, and you guys can win the contest with that one as well. But
yeah, absolutely. The chat was absolutely popping for this, which was great. Thank you for that, Rod. I have great news. Full slate of odds are up, so we will be live at 8:00 Eastern time. No, 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 on the Pacific time coast over there for you. So back in basically 2 hours, 15 minutes here. We'll be live with that Cup Series betting picks show for Atlanta. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a little bit. And make sure you head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NASCAR. Get entered in the contest. See you guys later.
Beautiful stuff. Cody, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff, including my 30-yard drop kick punt or drop kick field goal. If you're into that kind of stuff. whatever. It's sort of funny. So yeah, we'll see you guys later, and good luck in this bracket. Hopefully somebody listening here will take down the whole thing at NASCAR.com too.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's in between media. Seth and Elliot knocked it out of the park at Pocono this weekend. So make sure you go check out some of their stuff from the track. Boji Joe, you can find my whiteboard on there. I'll even put a picture on my Twitter of my whiteboard, and you can have that as well. All right. Love you all. We'll see you tonight for our pick show or whenever you listen to it next time. So until then, let's go racing and let it ride.